Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Brandon Martinez. I am the Director of Relationships for Keller Williams Legacy in Towson, Maryland. For those of you who have no idea what a Director of Relationships is, if you're inside KW, I am the team leader of our market center. I've been in this role for what, a year and a half now. Only because I've been told to say it. Accolades is one of the top grossing TLs that you have in the region. Yada, 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 a bunch of stuff that's in there. Honestly, I just like what I do and I like helping people. And that's why I'm here, right? Tonight's class, you are going to find out that I think out loud, I move quick. So if I need to slow down, remind me. I'm going to get a little personal on some things just because this topic is big to me. I don't think anything that we do in life we can't achieve unless we actually have a goal or a plan of what we want to accomplish. We might have random successes here or there, but when you actually have a goal to strive for, it makes a difference in your life. So that is why when this came out, I raised my hand to teach this class, just because it has a lot of meaning to me. So before I jump in and keep going, I got a quick question. You guys have been at Ignite for a little while now. What have we picked up? What have been some great takeaways? What are some things that you guys are loving so far?
Good evening. This is Chayezda. I'll share. I have a
25. You on time too. Congratulations to you. I saw that as well.
That's all right. I didn't want to be the teacher's pet, but
all right. Look, I was just trying to pronounce it in my head because I was going to figure out how bad I was going to mess your name up. That's really what it was.
You can call me Chai, but if you can say Bethesda, most people can say Chayezda. So phonetically.
Chayezda, I'm good. Once you said it one time, I'm good now. Until I say it again.
I will say about Keller Williams, it's very fast paced, which I enjoy. But I like the fact that in these classes, we are being, for those who are participating, forced to take action, which could be, you know, the life or death of a business. And so I'm enjoying that part. I was able to reconnect with a community-based organization and told the executive director, hey, I'm fully licensed and we need to partner. He's in New Orleans. And so I'm looking forward to connecting with him and meeting his first-time home buyers. So this class is forcing me to step out of my comfort zone. So thank you, guys.
You say he's in New Orleans. He lives in New Orleans?
No, he's in New Orleans presently, but he has a CBO in DC and Maryland.
Okay. Nice. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Who else? What are we getting out of it? Now, Chayezda said a great statement. For those of us who are contributing, let me tell you what this group is. This group that you have with you, these are the people who are going through the exact same things that you're going through, which means your struggles, they're experiencing the same struggles. Your successes, it might not happen at the exact same time, but guess what? Your first success is going to look just like somebody else's first success. These are going to be the people that you're going to be able to share with and that your careers will emulate, that you will follow. Somebody is going to blow up and you will always have that bond of coming through Ignite together. I know it's a little crazy being virtual, but trust me, the people that I started out with, I still have relationships from my very first Ignite class, my Bold class. We are still in constant communication. Some have moved to different brokerages, some have moved to different industries, but we are still in a bond talking about our goals, our fears, our successes, our failures together. So take advantage of that, right? I guarantee everybody who is on this call, whether it's this one or the weeks before, you've heard something that somebody has said, give them credit for it. Reach out to them afterwards. If you guys haven't connected in whatever medium, Facebook, email, text message, connect. Because when you are truly curious about something, this is going to be the group that probably has that same thought process and will give you a different perspective that you haven't had yet. Take advantage. Take full advantage. So set goals that matter. Anybody have any questions about tonight's class, what they're going to go through, who I am, or any questions at all? Oh, y'all gonna get tired of hearing me talk. Somebody has to jump in. All right, so my first question. Through each one of these classes, there has been a topic that's been given or a question that's been asked. And what is it that successful real estate agents do every day? Should be two things.
Lead generation.
It's part of it.
Wake up early.
That always helps.
Make appointments.
Make appointments. That's part of it.
Contact their SOI 20 a day.
Okay.
Prospecting.
Prospecting.
Goals.
Follow-up.
You said what? So I heard set goals. What's the other?
Follow-up.
Photo ops.
In my world, follow up with other agents as well.
Okay. Follow up. Yep. So you guys have mentioned a lot of great things. And those two things that we always do, we grow, we run a business, right? A lot of the things we mentioned, lead generate, follow up. A lot of those things come in that world of growing our business. There's the other side of that business too, which is we do have to run it, right? And that's the two things that no matter what you're doing, no matter where your business is at, those are the things that you have to focus on every single day when you have your real estate business, right? So in these activities, you guys have a great sense of the things that are involved as we're growing that business and as we're running it. And I'll be honest, the running the business, you're going to learn that as your business grows because there's going to be different things that you need to run that business on a regular basis. So the whole point of what we're going through today is, hold on, let me make sure I got the right slide deck. All right, perfect. So we're going to focus on a couple of things, right? On that running the business side, it's really setting goals, but we're going to use this for everything that we do, right? You mentioned lead generation, follow-up. We got to have goals set for that, right? We need to know what trainings we need to go through and where we need to be. See, the set goals part of this business is this is giving you that roadmap and the foundation for everything that you need to go through. Now, first thing I'll tell you is everybody who's here today, and mind you, you're going to see me look at, I have 3 different screens in my office. So when I point here, I'm pointing at you guys. And I know I ain't supposed to point at people, but that's just who I am, right? I use my hands, I talk, and in about 5 minutes, I'll be standing up, walking around in circles. I'm active, can't help it. But congratulations to everybody who's here, right? You're investing in your business. You're investing in running that business. You're doing that by showing up to figure out, what do I need to do next? If I do these things and I get my business to the next level, that's worthy of applause, right? And that's worthy of knowing that you guys are doing the right things. So as we go forward and we start looking at what goals do we need to accomplish? What do we need to do? Well, we got to really break it down. So ask a question. There is no right answer to this question, so I'll tell you up front. This is just a thought process for us. What is a meaningful goal to you?
Time blocking, which means do the right activities to do 80% of the right activities to get where I want to be.
Okay. I like that. I like that a lot. Thank you. What else? What's a meaningful goal to someone else?
Brandon, I have a goal that I think I mentioned to you when I was there.
Yep.
And it is meaningful to me. It's CAP 23 in 2023.
I like that goal a lot. I like that goal a lot. It's a phenomenal goal. Anyone else? Let's get 3 more meaningful goals.
I personally like also the build daily success habits, meaning even if it needs to be 10 minutes a day, that will, if you do it every day, same time for months or 2 months, that becomes like a habit and you can just definitely change your life.
Absolutely. Building meaningful habits is
Mhm.
paramount.
Which it's hard to stick to, but we have to if we want to be successful.
Oh, there's so much that I want to say about that, and I will. But there's Well, somebody was a guest with me earlier today, and at the one thing, there's something that you have to know. You know, creating a habit takes discipline, right? And if you're like me, you may have a lot of self-discipline, but it may not last that long, right? And that takes the willpower to do what's right or do what you schedule yourself to do. Well, the willpower, that is a fleeting resource. And if you focus and you know that your willpower is strongest in the morning time, well, if you truly want to build a habit, that's when you should be focused on it and do it. Because the more that you do those things, the more that you build it as a habit, the less discipline, the less willpower you have to use to do it. And then you can use that willpower and discipline towards something else, another goal that you want to build a habit out of to go forward. So Stella, you're spot on. And that is something that is paramount in this conversation I've been having with myself and a few others right now, is just build the habits so it takes less energy from you. 2 more goals.
Mine,
So, oh, go ahead.
mine is to establish myself financially enough that my daughter will be cared for even after I'm not here.
Nice. Nice. That's meaningful, very impactful. Thank you.
So generically speaking, I guess a valuable goal in my eyes would be one that's well thought out, realistic, attainable, and has a time frame. So for instance, right now, a short-term goal for me is just simply to close my first transaction. I just got my real estate license in July and signed on with Keller Williams. Still kind of going through Ignite and getting on my feet. I'm dual career, so I don't have as much time during the week because I do work 40 hours a week. But yeah, so short-term goal for me that's time-based, realistic, is just close my first transaction before the end of the year, before things get slow for the winter.
Awesome. Wade, thank you. I'm going to ask you a question. If we're generically speaking, and I think what Ebony said is something that's very key. But why is closing your first deal? Why is that important to you?
It kind of just gives me, I guess, personal reassurance that I have what it takes, and I put in the effort and didn't use an excuse of like there's just not any leads out there or not enough time. I guess just kind of a challenge to myself. And if I reach that early, then maybe I make it 2 transactions. But it's just one of those things where I feel like it would make my time and effort that I put in over the last 6 months to a year worth it.
And Wade, thank you for sharing that. That's phenomenal. Can I ask the class a question? Who else feels that way? Who else needs to prove something to themselves and wants to make sure that they can close a transaction and that they didn't spend a lot of time going through the real estate classes and doing all that? Like,
Yep, me for sure.
Yes, I would definitely say me as well. Like when he was talking, I was thinking like it would just reassure my why I started. When you're going through, you start to doubt yourself. Like you in some of these classes, and it's other people speaking about, and they're using terminology that you do not know. And to do it one time, I feel like I can do it again. I also feel like that way with people that look like me. When I see people that look like me, representation is like, if they can do it, I can do it. So let me do it so I could just do it 1,000 more times.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm, referring to. I'm not going to say I'll throw in the towel if I don't get a transaction closed this year, but it definitely would, I think, motivate me more and kind of, help push me along if I did see that happen.
see, and this is what's awesome. We all share it. Literally, as we're going through this right before the class started, I'm talking to a 100-unit producer, and they have some of the same fears of what if I don't close another deal? We all go through it. So it's okay to be there. But this is the key thing about, we're talking about goals right now. And Wade just used a great word. And he said, that's what will motivate me. You really think about that goal should be something that gives you a vision of where you want to go, right? Whether it's making sure that you're closing enough transactions to change your daughter's life, or to even give you the confidence to know that you can continue to do it. it's what motivates you, but it also is that drive to get you to where you want to go. So that phrase right there, and just how everybody connected with it, like, man, you're speaking my language. That's what's important about tonight's class, is let's set an actual goal that means something to us, that we can drive forward, that truly can change our lives and make us feel better about the decisions that we made, but also know that what we're here for is truly achievable. All right, have somebody read the quote that's on the screen for me.
I can read it. Who we
Right.
are and where we want to go determine what we do and what we accomplish.
So it's from the one thing.
Yep.
What stands out about that quote?
What activities we do today, what we choose to do today, will just tell about our future, kind of.
I hear that.
To me, it says if you don't, if you're not true to yourself and don't have really a vision, I guess, or true goals on where you want to go, you're not going to accomplish much, plain and simple.
True. You know what it says to me also, and it's interesting because I feel like with the conversations I have with agents, and mind you, I talk to people who want to get their real estate license because they heard it's an awesome path. People who just got their license, people who've been producing for a couple of years, to people who have been in this real estate industry for 50 years. I have coaching and mentor and guidance conversations with them all the time. And one thing I will tell you, what stands out to me about this quote, where we want to go determines what we do and what we accomplish. Right now, because we haven't closed the transaction, our thought process is, I need to prove to myself I can do it. It's an awesome motivator. And because that's a motivation, guess what? You're going to close that transaction. But the next side to it is how big you think determines how big a life you can have. If it's crazy how some of these conversations tie in together. So a real estate agent was just bringing to me at 5:30 to 5:45. It was the conversation about a business venture that they are looking to start and what they want to build out. And it is a phenomenal idea. And one thing I heard in that idea was, I'm talking to agents across the country. You don't know how many people are begging for what you just mentioned. And immediately your idea, as they were bringing it to me, isn't big enough. And when I say it isn't big enough, it is great for the local area. But if you had a vision of saying, you know what, this could change the real estate industry, if your idea, if your vision of it is that broad, if your goal is that broad, think about what you have set up to accomplish. And it's that thing that I was talking about it earlier today, get so laser focused on accomplishing one goal that once it's accomplished, the thought process next is, well, what do I do now? Where we want to go will determine what we do and what we accomplish. If you only want to go to the next block, guess what? You'll get there faster than you can imagine. But if you want to go to the next county, the next country, the next state, the next country, think that big and imagine how far you're going to travel. By the time you turn around and look back, you'll realize you've done so much that you can't even imagine how you got there. I am completely off script, but this is because it's been a great day and some great conversations right now. Funny part is I am not that off script, because this is exactly what we're talking about, right? Your thought process, how big you think determines what your outcomes can be. If you think big, you get big outcomes. If you think small, small outcomes will be there. So Wade, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to challenge you on this. After we close that first deal, we get the experience, and now we've gotten 2, 3, 4 transactions. Where do you think you can go in real estate? Where do you think you can do being an agent?
Are
Pretty
you
much
asking?
anywhere, I guess.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Pretty much anywhere, I guess.
So let's use the graph, right? And this question is open to everybody. Where do you want real estate to take you?
For me, I want financial stability because my plan is in 3 years to retire from my 9 to 5 and let this be everything into it. Not that I'm not putting everything into it now, but my time is really essentially split. And so I have a goal 3 years to be able to say, okay, goodbye to something that I'm not happy with and completely indulge in something that I am happy with. And then probably 2 years from now, create another goal that's going to keep me past the 3 years. Because I know once I get close enough to achieving the 3 years, I need to, in my mind anyway, the way I work, I need to have something else to say, okay, well, what's next for me?
Yeah. You know what's awesome about what you just said, and you think about these goals, you just said real estate can change my life. It can take me away from somewhere I don't want to be and put me in a place that I will truly enjoy. As you're thinking about your career and what you want to do, that's that thought process to have in it is, I literally can change my life and change the people in your world's life. We start thinking about big outcomes. You guys are here today because this is an opportunity that's in front of you. Set your goals that large that can change not just yours, but somebody else's life, because that is truly what's in front of you. And it's achievable. And even if you don't, and what's that old phrase, shoot for the star, land on the moon, shoot for the moon, land on the stars? I don't know. I'm also, as I'm getting older, I had a goal of start using a lot of quotes and phrases that don't make sense, but make sense at the same time, just because, you know, in my mind, that's what old folks do. So I'm going there in my head. So if it doesn't make sense, just nod your head and go along with it. But yeah, think big. It gets us to that point. We can be there. And don't settle, right? They're going to be, and just as Wade mentioned, your SMART goals that you have, right? You want them measurable, you want them attainable. Well, I can tell you this, there are more millionaire real estate agents than any of us can count. And if that's the case, why not you? And it can easily be you, just as long as we're applying the right principles. We're learning them as we go through Ignite. But now set our goals and set our sights there, because our goals can be broken down into chunks of, if I accomplish this, this gets me towards my next target of X. If I accomplish X, it gets me to my next target of Y. And before you know it, we're on the red line versus being just on the blue line. So think about this for yourself right now. If we look at these boxes, right, and just using the graph to say how big you're thinking to the time and effort that you can put into real estate on what you could accomplish. How big is your box? Where are you putting your ceiling? You know, I saw the quote earlier, 1440. So does anybody know what 1440 is?
How many minutes in a day?
I know you would know the answer. I'd be upset if you didn't answer that one. You're absolutely right. That's how many minutes are in a day. So if we only have 1440, we only have that many minutes in a day. And for those of us who are dual career, we have our other career that we have to take care of at this moment. All right, well, in real estate, in the time that we have, what are we going to accomplish with it? Where are you setting your sights? And I would love to tell you that none of us put a ceiling on ourselves and think limitless and everything is there. The reality is you got a ceiling in your mind because that's just who we are. So if that's the case, where is yours? And let's take it outside of real estate. Let's just look at our lives, right? Let's connect with each other and find out what we're going through. So let's share a story. Share a story thinking about a time that we limited ourselves, whether it's in your personal life or in your business, by not having a large enough vision of what you could accomplish.
I feel like oh, sorry, go ahead, Brandon.
No, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I
No,
feel like my current employment situation, I've limited myself because I've been unhappy for probably 2 or 3 years, but I've just kind of been coasting and not going outside the box. I have all, a large skill set, a lot of experience. I could have left a long time ago, but I just kind of said, okay, well, it pays the bills. It wasn't until I started to really reflect and it became very uncomfortable for me and realized that, you know what, I've reached the max of where I'm going to go where I am. There is nothing else more for me. So now I need to do some soul searching and say, okay, well, what am I really interested in and where do I want to be? And that's when I decided to start doing some things that I find joy and pleasure in. And while I haven't reached my initial step yet, which is that first close just yet, I'm still trying to do everything that I can to get me there and beyond, not just for that. So whatever trainings I can jump on, whatever, the book club, this, that, whatever I can to try and be around as many people in the industry as possible to absorb as much information as I can to help offset the negativity that I feel from the situation that I'm in, during my 9 to 5, but also to propel me into more of doing what I really want to do. Maybe that 3 years won't be 3 years. Maybe it'll be shorter than that.
Think big. We make it shorter. Who else? Who else has limited themselves by thinking small at some time in their life? Tell us a story. Let's share.
I'll come off mute. Very much like Crystal, career-wise, I've been an EA for over 20 years, and I took a pay cut, to take a job in transitioning. And when you find yourself in a position where you're not happy, it does something to you, to your spirit. It really begins to take a toll. I've been in sales since the age of 18. I've sold everything except houses. I had a very successful direct sales business. I've sold cars. I've sold life insurance. I could probably sell ice to an Eskimo just because I'm confident in my skill set. However, when you're learning something new, like real estate for me, it's a dream I've been chasing for 20 years, and it's finally time. And I will say, Crystal, I'm giving you more like 18 months. I'm giving you more like 18 months than 3 years, just because once you're in the industry and you're around those people and you begin to produce and your confidence is then increased, in something that you were once, a newbie at, then you can, you really have nothing to lose here in real estate. None of us do. We have everything to gain by helping other people, and you should be rewarded for that. A lot of people want to help people, but you also want to be compensated for doing so. So I'm here for the competitiveness of the industry. I'm here to grow. I'm here to learn, and I'm also here to become a leader. So I just say, past experience has taught me that you just cannot stay complacent. Being content is one thing, but being complacent is something totally different. Thank you.
Well, let's dig into that, right? If we're going to get in and we want to, and Crystal, we'll work with you right now, right? We just said that we think you're going to get there 18 months or less. I honestly think it can be way less, but I'm going to leave my thought process out of it, right?
I'm sure I'll hear it again at some point. It's okay.
You will. You can't help but hear it. But what are the things that we need to go through? Where would you need to focus to start making your goal a reality? What do you need to start doing? What have you been doing?
Working on my lead gen, my scripts, getting comfortable with that. The next couple days, actually through the weekend, I'll be working on time blocking and preparing myself because I've joined the other, contract to close group. So, I'm trying to put all those ducks in a row. I mean, I'm very fortunate that the job that I have, there is some level of flexibility there. So for me, I'm taking full advantage of that. So when I time block, that's exactly what, you know, I'm like, when I'm able to come into the office during the day or whatever, it's because I have that flexibility. So those are the things that I'm trying to do now. The biggest thing for me, I think, is getting more and more confident with, you know, the lead gen and when I'm reaching out to folks and having that conversation and being able to respond to objections. So that's where my focus is now, those two things.
And I'll say this, and one, thank you again for sharing, but you also mentioned that, you know, your job has flexibility. Well, I can tell you that I've seen you here in the evenings where a lot of us will be off. You're attending the book clubs. You've actually put yourself in different circles to get different information. You started the lead gen. You started tracking because you had a powerhouse agent talk about how they track. Those are the things that a lot of new agents come in and they'll limit themselves on, right? I don't have the sphere to reach out to, or I don't know what to say. Matter of fact, well, and we have a Shift Book Club that we're part of. And then today's Wednesday. This is how fast the week is going for me. I was about to say yesterday. But Monday, when we were talking about it, we asked, how many contacts had you made? And we talked about the contacts this week versus the ones you made last week.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you say? Which week was easier?
This week.
And you couldn't understand why. I thought it was just the people, but we said, if you're using the same script, are you more confident and comfortable now because you've been using it, right?
Yep,
you're taking those steps to get to where you need to be. And even just, and somebody who raised their hand when we said we all share that fear of, I don't know if I made the right decision and I want to get that first deal closed to be there. I've seen her transaction of, all right, I'm going to apply myself. I'm going to put the effort and energy forward and see what comes. And even if it's just my conversations got easier and somebody who told you no, what did they do?
Preferred somebody else, another person to me.
Now you got clients coming in from just what you set your sights on and started working towards to achieve your goal.
And it actually happened again yesterday. Somebody else that wasn't, they actually are builders themselves, but whatever their circle that had, you know, their number one, number two real estate agents in it are no longer in the industry. So they wanted to keep my contact information to use going forward. You know, when they work with clients that are looking for houses and they're given names, they wanted to put my name in the group of people that they would refer people to. So.
Okay, so we just got 2 strong referrals. All right. Class, how many people would love to get that referral themselves?
Me.
Can we get a round of applause and support Crystal on reaching out, lead gen, and grabbing some business?
Oh, well, thank you.
Okay. That's how we support each other. Look, and you see how it shows up. She's there, she's going through, and she's pushing forward towards working towards her goal. So let's do an activity. All right. There is this thing that we talk about at Keller Williams. And you probably heard some of us say our big life, our big why. You guys should have your participant guides. And if you go to page 3, we're going to fill out something to show us our big life, but then show us what we can do with this in real estate, right? So I struggle with trying to figure this out and what to do. And I will be honest, as corny, cliche, drink the Kool-Aid, all that stuff you want to throw out there, it works. So let's go through it together. All right. What's up, young man?
I heard you next door. What are you doing?
I'm teaching Ignite. Say hello to the class.
Can you see me?
If you lean over.
Hi, everybody. What's up?
So it's another powerhouse agent we have in our market center who's starting to live his big life by going through the same thing, going through, writing out and achieving their goals.
Yeah.
So what I want us to do on page 3, if you don't have page 3, then it's very simple. Draw 5 rectangles in a circle pattern. And in each one of these rectangles, I want you to write the name of a person that you truly care about and you would love to see something positive happen in their life, or a cause that you care about and you want to see a change happen in that. Repeat that in each one of the circles, in each one of the squares. As you're going through and you're writing it down, go ahead, question.
So you're talking 5 different people or
5 different
things.
people, causes in each one. Well, 1 in each box, 5
Right.
total. Yeah. And it could be I can tell you one of mine. It could be a parent that you wanted to care for or that you need to care for. It could be funding your kids' education in school.
One of them be yourself.
Absolutely. If you don't care for
Okay.
yourself, who will? It could be traveling. It's whatever means something significant to you. Put in each one of the boxes. And something a lot of people think of, health is a big one too. Something that truly is impactful to you or somebody that you care about. All right, give me a thumbs up on your screen once you got it. I saw a few thumbs. All right, and so now what I want us to do with each one of these boxes, I want you to write down an estimate of how much it costs to fund each box. Write it inside that box. And then when you have it for each box, I want you to, whatever the sum of all 5 of those boxes, I want you to put that in the middle. Once you have that amount, no matter how large, I want you to say it out loud for me.
$2,752,000.
Okay.
Plus.
Okay.
440,000 minimum.
Okay. I share like 15 answers or 14 more, 13 more answers.
I'm running a little bit behind because I hadn't printed out the materials, and so I printed it out now, but I'm playing catch up.
All right, no worries.
So what you want us to do, I'm just trying to make sure I understand what the expectation is.
Yep. All right. So there's five rectangles, put them in a circle, right? On page 3 of your activity guide, it should be the one that says big light. Each one of those rectangles, I want you to write one thing inside of each rectangle that you care about. It could be yourself, it could be a loved one, it could be a charity, it could be a vacation, it could be the dream car that you've always wanted, it could be whatever is important to you. And then write down what it would cost to achieve that.
Okay.
And the sum of all 5 of those items, I want you to write down in the middle and circle it. And that's the number I want everybody to say out loud.
I have 1,080,000.
1,080,000. Okay. Let's get a few more.
900,000.
900.
That was my number, 900,000 for me as well.
900. Okay.
Mine was 360,000,
360. Okay.
of course.
You could have told me 360 million and I would have been like, well, all right, let's go.
Some people have answers in the chat.
Oh yeah, I'm slow with that, so forgive me for the chat. All right, we got 405, 2.5, 850,
Then 1 million, and then 1.2.
1.2. All right, let's take an average of these real quick. 2, 7, 5, 2.
My big life, I don't know if I'm doing this wrong or something. I don't know. But if I'm thinking about my big life, what I'm going to put in that circle, I want to be a billionaire. I don't want to, yeah.
Okay. You just threw our numbers off, but all right, let's rock with it.
I've gone through some type of exercise before where you try to figure out like thinking about what you have to do, how much you need to kind of like retire and live a lifestyle, right? Include the things that you know, you will be responsible for. And so doing that exercise for just myself and the lifestyle I want to live, I came up with a couple of million. I have an elderly parent, so I think that amount is going to be, of course, it's going to grow more than that. And so I have to, yeah.
Okay. Well, this is the beauty of it is we went through. So I had the average out before $1 billion was put in there, but we're averaging out to a little bit over 1.1. It's 1.14 million is what we all average out to be. This is the part that I will tell you about real estate. The fact that everybody's numbers is different, everybody's business will be different. And what's awesome about this is where you stay true to yourself and you set a goal that matters to yourself. If your goal is 100,000 or your goal is 1 billion, this is the big life that you want to live, that you want to feel comfortable with. Now, I told you earlier that the bigger you think, the bigger things will be accomplished, but sometimes we do need to have those goals that we can walk through and hit. But what I can tell you is every single number that you gave me, they're achievable. Every single number that you gave me, I actually know somebody who is making that in real estate right now. You said $1 billion. I had a meeting and we'll have a surprise guest to our book club that's coming up on Monday. We had a gentleman who was in this market center who his goal this year is to do $2 billion in revenue in real estate. That's his goal for next year. Every number that we came up with, I know somebody who was making that amount. That is the business that we're in. So now we're talking about funding our big lives and what it gets to you. All right, let's get personal again. I'll start by sharing what was in my rectangle, and I know mine because this is what I work towards. So one of the biggest things that truly was a why for me, one of them doesn't have a number in the box because I don't know how to quantify it. And that's, I don't want my children to ever, I don't want them to volunteer or to be mandatory to work for anyone else. They can come work for myself. They can work in my wife's clinic. We own, and I'm part owner of the market center. We own our businesses. They can come work for us. That's a goal that I've set out that I want to have in place. So when they want to start working, they have a job and they can see that you can own your own business. That's extremely important to me. Couldn't put a number on that one. But all right, if I'm gonna be open, let's be open. My mother has a degenerative brain disease, and we don't know if it's hereditary. We don't know if it's passed down in the genes. She was going to spend an exorbitant amount of money to find it out because she's fearful for my daughter, my niece, me, my brother, and that. And I told her, don't worry about that, because in my mind, If it is something that's passed down, we'll deal with it when it's time. And I know that ain't the right thought process, but I just didn't want her to think about it and worry about it. I know my mother. So she's been very independent her whole life. And it has also been a goal of hers to be overly independent. My mother is the youngest of 9 siblings, and she is the youngest by like 20 years. So she has always been the baby her whole life and has always had somebody taking care of her, depending on her, and doing anything for her. So it's been a conversation that she wanted to have her independence. I didn't expect to tell a story tonight. So when she found out she was sick, and we all found, well, one, she kept it to herself because she didn't want anybody to know. But when somebody's speech is slurred, when they can't move, it just becomes an issue, right? And you drive and you get an accident every time. It's just a lot to go through. So she had to sell her house. Selling her house didn't make enough money to put her inside of a 55 and over community where she could get a nurse to be available and to care for her. And so with the most recent, and I say most recent, this is 2 years ago now, the diagnosis, it was car has to leave and somebody has to be there. And we're talking 3 months that she needs to be in a different location. Well, you're talking $440,000 that we had to come up with damn near overnight. And that became my big why. And we reached it, we achieved it, and we were able to do it. And all the kudos and everything else doesn't matter. It's about, that was something that was a motivating factor, a target and a goal that had to be achieved because I refused to let my mother not have her independence that she's worked so hard to achieve. That big why, I was able to accomplish the goal. The numbers that we're looking at on this paper, I can tell you, you can achieve every last one of these. We'll show you how to get there, but this is your motivators. What you wrote down on that paper, put up on your wall, whether it's at your other career, whether it's at your home office, whether it's in your car, put it somewhere where you will see it. It will motivate you. It will make you angry. It will drive you. It will be the one thing that makes you pick up the phone and makes that next phone call. It'll be the thing that will have you go to that appointment when you think that there's no realistic way that this person would choose you as their listing agent. It will be that driving factor that makes sure that you will do whatever's necessary to get whatever it is that's on that square. I really wanted y'all to share y'all stories, but I don't know that. Y'all know me.
Yeah, very sorry to hear about your mom, but that's motivating too, that you just reached your goal and you put it and you got it.
Yeah. We're here. So this is our class, right? This is our group. These are the people that you're going to grow with, that you're going to share with. Somebody share their why. Share what's under one of your squares.
I can share mine. Well, one of my, so one of mine is my student loan debt. It's huge, almost $200,000 of student loan debt. So that's a big motivator for me. I mean, yes, I have an MBA and all these wonderful degrees, but if I would have the knowledge that I have now at that point in time, I definitely would have gone about it a different way to obtain it. Unfortunately, my children won't have to experience that, but yeah, that's a big why for me. I don't have debt, that's my debt.
Okay. You know what? You're gonna get that too.
I'm working on it. Actively working on it.
I can share some. My experience a little bit backwards, probably because I kind of achieved some things by just becoming an agent. I set a goal to understand how real estate works in America. I came here 5 years ago, and I think I'm understanding now. So check.
There we go. There we go.
Now you guys are trying to take me further than I was hoping to be, was thinking. And my squares are, I am from a country, well, my just personal experience. I want a home of my own, and I want each of my children to have a home of their own. And I wanted to start it earlier than waiting until my age, that they don't have to wait until they're as old as me
Yeah.
to look for a home.
Where are you
So
from?
I'm from Ukraine.
Okay.
I want my own home, and then I have for each of my child, which is three homes to buy. And take care of my mom too, because I hope she moves here as well. So I got to buy 5 homes here ago. I'm a buyer, really, not real estate agent.
Well, you know what? It sounds like you as a real estate agent just found 5 transactions that you got in your career. Okay. I like that.
You are on the right path.
And you have a huge community that's here that will support you as well. We have several agents that are from Ukraine in our market center, and you have a huge community that will support you.
Thank you.
Well, so let's get 2 more and then we'll take a quick break at 7.
By the way, I'm making cards now to put it up.
Okay.
All the 5 houses that I want to put it up so I can see it.
There you go. There's nothing more gratifying than knowing that you got something off of. When I tell you, I am almost all of my squares are gone and I need to put up new squares. So Crystal, you mentioned student loans. Had a goal to be completely debt-free, and my wife had $250,000 of student loan debt. She is completely debt-free. Well, not completely debt-free, but all of her student loans have now been covered. So when I tell you you can achieve it, yes, you can achieve it.
All right, you haven't steered me wrong yet.
People who are doctors and wonder why we taking on all this student loan debt just so you can get a doctor in front of your name that you don't even use. And now we got to pay off all this money, but it's been paid off, and I didn't even realize we paid it off because we were working so hard towards it. So yeah, it can be done. It can be done.
You guys
All
are
right.
blessed.
You know what? I'm blessed to be around people just like everybody in this room, because those are the things that focused me in, that drew me to these conversations, that let me know that there was something bigger out there than just wishing upon a star and hoping that it would happen. 2 more. Let me just get 2 more boxes.
Well, I'll tell 2 more since nobody's saying anything.
I was
else.
gonna say, Crystal, I'll share. You know,
Oh, you can.
you
No,
almost-
go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, since we're on debt, one of my daughters went to trade school, the other went to college. And so for the one who went to college, I definitely want her to be student loan debt free. Now, what other, debt she incurs as a young adult, that's on her. But that degree that's hanging on my wall is definitely a goal. And one of the other squares that I have is for me to touch all 7 continents. So I have budgeted to do that amount of travel. Travel is something that I absolutely enjoy, which is why a career in real estate is going to be critical for me, because I need to own my time, which will allow me to then travel the world. So.
Okay. I actually like that a lot. I like that a lot. That is, see, I know mine was real heavy, but let's have some fun too, right? We got to have some goals that we can reach out and have fun. Like, that's something that, and this is what my wife actually got on me for, because none of my goals were fun. And she tells me it all the time, like, what happened to the fun person? I was like, well, life got real. But touching all 7 continents, I love that. I might have to add that to my bucket list. I didn't even think about that.
Fun helps balance out the life that got real. Brandon, fun helps balance out the life that got real. So you still need to travel. I'm sure your wife would appreciate that.
That is
right.
True. That
You need to woo your wife. What you doing?
Hey, I do sometimes. I get yelled at a lot too now. That's a whole other story. All right. We got an idea of what our goals are, right? We have an idea of our big life, what we want to achieve, and where we want to go. I got a feeling if I move it. Let's look at this role that we're in, this world that we're in, real estate, and how real estate can help us achieve these goals, right? and really start figuring out, what do we have to do? What does life look like? So ask this question. Where does your money go? We close a real estate transaction. So open question, you close a real estate transaction, you got commission that comes in. What happens to your money? Where does it go? Your commission's broken down, right? Commission comes in, the other agent's gonna get a portion. The market center that you're with gets a portion. You have business expenses that are there, right? Then you get what you take home. So real estate commission comes in. Let's figure out what happens first. The first half is gonna go towards, like, you're gonna split between you and the other agent, right? So let's say it's a true 50-50 split, 6% commission comes in, 3% on one side, 3% on the other side. So you have your 50% that's there. Now, your half that comes in, what happens to your side? Your half of your commission, where does it go? What happens to it?
Mine is split with the market center and my team.
There you go. If you have a team, then you have your team split that you go through. If you're an individual agent, then you have a split that goes to the market center. That split that you have that goes to the market center, some have caps, some don't, right? We got a goal of 23 and 23, right? There's company dollars that goes in, right? This, on our business side, this is what we call that cost of doing business, right? So now you have your split to the market center. All right. After that, what else happens with your funds?
You have your own business.
Business expenses.
There you go. You're running a business. You're going to have your business expenses that you have to cover, right? You have marketing, you have anything else that you put into your business, because we do two things every day. What? We grow a business, we run a business. So part of the money that you bring in is going towards running that business as well. Well, there's one more caveat. Now you put the money back into your business. What's left? What else do you have to account for?
Taxes.
Taxes.
Yes, taxes. So now we went through taxes. So that beautiful commission that came in, we see that it's going to be split down. We really can't escape any of these items because it's just a part of the business that we go through. But we have numbers listed down. We have goals we want to achieve. And now that we have an understanding of what's going to happen to our money, now let's actually take a look and see, what do we need to put pen to paper? What tasks do we need to do? What numbers do we need to hit to achieve the goals that we want to go through? So everybody's market center is going to be a little bit different. We're going to use this as an average. So we're going to run through some numbers. Yes, we got math coming up, but it's not that bad. I do a lot of it for you. So let's say your average sales price is sitting right around $300,000. The average commission on the $300,000 transaction is going to be $9 grand, right? So if we're looking at this, this is where we're going to start truly looking at where our goals are. Wherever you're located, wherever your market center is, get this information. Find out what that average sales price is and find out what the average commission is for your market center. For mine, it is very close to these numbers. We are hovering between $322,000 to $350,000 average sales price. Our average commission hovers between $8,900 to $9,700 every single month that our agents receive on each transaction, all right? When you know this information, the next thing that you want to know, we talked about where your money goes. Your commission comes in. You have a split that you get charged by your market center. So you want to have an understanding, what is that capped amount? So this is just using a generic number. It is not the numbers for my market center. It may not be the numbers for your market center, but we'll use this as an example. So if your cap that you have in your market center is $27,000, right? You have a royalty that everybody who's in Keller Williams, we have to pay. It's $3,000. It comes out of 6% of your commission and it's capped at $3 grand. So that means your cost of sale items, right? You have a transaction that closes, your cost of sale items, if you're going to reach whatever number it is, our average 1.1 million, right? $30,000 of the commissions that you bring in are going to be cost of sale items that's going to the market center in Keller Williams. Well, now we need to see what you need to achieve, right? Because that's a 12-month period. So what do you need to do on the transaction side? The transaction side, we're going to use the default here. The default that I typically hear when we interview with somebody and we go forward is $100,000, right? And if the $100,000 is your net income goal, we already just went through the company dollar, what you pay to your market center is going to be $30,000. Then you're going to have your business expenses. Your business expenses are going to vary based upon your business. I'm going to tell you something now, you'll hear it later, and it'll make a hell of a lot more sense the bigger you get. Your business expenses will fluctuate. They will be very low. As you become very successful just by yourself, your business expenses will not be that large. You will expand, you will hire somebody, you will have people that you'll pay money out to, your business expenses will go through the roof. You're going to feel like you're not making as much money when in fact you're growing your business larger to get that money back twofold. It'll take some time. When that happens, then you'll have a real decision to make on how much you want to increase your business expenses to continue to make more. Know that your business expenses will continue to fluctuate. We talked about in our book club on Monday, you do want to build out a budget so you know what your expenses are. There is a ratio that we'll go through. It's a number called 30-30-40. Probably won't be able to get into it tonight, but you should be going through it. And really, you should have learned about it in the very first class. And there's another class that you'll go through. And if you need more on it, I love talking about finances too, and we can talk about that side later on. Now, we're going to take these numbers. The net income goal, $100,000 that you want to achieve, the money that you have to pay towards your brokerage, and then whatever your business expenses are. This example, we're using $50,000. We're going to add those three together. That gives you your total GCI. Do we know what GCI stands for? Gross commission income. There you go. Appreciate you, Stephen. So your gross commission income that you have is the gross commission that you need to earn before anything comes out. So in this example, we would need to earn $180,000 in gross commission income to get there. Well, if we go back a previous slide, the average commission, $9,000. So to fund our life, if we need to make $100,000 in a year, all we're going to do is take that $9,000 and divide that into the $180,000. That's going to give us the number of transactions that we would need to close in that year to reach our goal. So if we want to reach $100,000 based on an average commission of $9,000, that means 20 homes is our target number that we would need to close. I'm going to ask a question. I know I ran through those numbers quick, but the last thing that you would have heard is 20 homes equals $100,000.
So would that not be gross income though? Is that all before taxes?
That's all before taxes. You got it. Unless, and this is where everybody's a little bit different. So in this example, part of what we went through in your business expenses, they're actually calculating in this that you have your taxes included in, that you're pre-budgeting what your taxes are going to be.
Gotcha.
You are going to find a strategy that works best for you. Check with your tax accountant on how you want to prepare for your taxes. But I'll ask this question. 20 homes for 100,000. Do we think that that is achievable, an achievable number to reach?
Absolutely. That's just over a closing a month.
Yep, not even 2 closings a month. Here's the reality to it. That $50,000 in business expenses, as an individual agent right now, you're not going to have anywhere near $50,000 in business expenses. You won't even know what to spend $50,000 on right now to get to that point. So what you're going to find to really hit that number, and as I've seen it over and over again, the total GCI that you need in your first year to make $100,000 is roughly going to be about, depending on your market center and what your cap is, $130,000 to $135,000. Now that's before taxes, of course. So do that same calculation, 135 divided by 9. Or divided by 9,000. It's 15 closings, right? 15 closings, just over 1 a month. Doing 1 transaction a month is not as difficult as you would imagine. Yes, and this way, to your point, once you get that first one, you know what to do and it'll run from there. Think about some of the conversations that I've had tonight and some of the people who've walked in the office. So one of the young men who popped their face in front of the camera, they're at about 36 transactions a year. The person who for everybody who was here right at 6 o'clock, who saw me having a conversation, the person who was in this building that I was having a conversation with, they do about 175 units a year. So 175 units times
individually or as a, or
Huh?
is that individually or as like a team leader or like a?
He's a team now. As an individual, he maxed out at 120 units by himself. The gentleman before, yeah, that's an individual. So right now he's at 1.5 million in his GCI. Agents who are here on a regular basis, these numbers are achievable and can be there. If you can control your expenses, your numbers will look ridiculously large and you can get there faster than you can imagine. Right now, you guys are in a position where, because you don't know what to spend money on, the only thing you should be focusing on is how do you achieve, how do you get business, and you can hit these numbers. So let's play a game. Let's go through and run these numbers for each of us. This should be on one of your, and I'm sorry, I got off track for a little bit. You guys have this inside of your, in your packet. I forget which page it is. Is it 8 or 9 or something like that? A blank one of these sheets? If not, no worries, get a blank piece of paper and we're gonna write this out. All right, so our net income goal. We're gonna put in whatever that number is on the circle inside of those 5 rectangles, put that inside of your net income goal. So if you just have a blank piece of paper, then just write A, draw a line over, and then write whatever that number is. Yes, sir.
Book club.
Yep.
I haven't started the book. Can I still come and join?
You absolutely can come join.
6 to 7 on Monday.
6 to 7 on Monday.
In here?
We're gonna be in the training room. Yep. Yeah, we got I got somebody special coming in on it too, so it'll be good to show up this next one.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
All right.
I haven't been big on reading, but I see that y'all got it, so I'm trying to tap in.
Yeah. I mean, even if you don't, like, I have a book for you too, so it'll be worth it. All right. Yeah. Come on in.
All right.
Audible's your best friend too.
Who is it?
Audible. You can listen to the book being read.
Oh, audio book. Got it.
There you
All
go.
right.
There you go.
That's what I'm using.
Hey, look, I cheat. I listen to Audible as I drive, so nothing wrong with it. All right, so we got our big Y number, right? That's in column A. So section B, we're gonna write in whatever market center you're in. You're gonna write in whatever the royalty split is that you have, right? So if you're in my market center and you're an individual agent, that's 23,000 is a split to the market center. And then plus 3,000, which is the royalty to Keller Williams International. So that's 26,000. If you're on a team and that team has a standard fee that you charge and it doesn't have a cap on it, then it's a little bit different. Use the 26,000, and then on a side note, I can work with you to show you what that calculation would be. All right, for your business expenses. Now, the traditional amount that you're going to spend on your business expenses in your first year is usually going to be about 10% of whatever the volume is that you're going to do. So your net income goal that you have, whatever that number is, use 10% of that number and let's use that as an expense. And that's even going to be large. All right, so that gives us our section D. So I did the average for the numbers that we mentioned together as a class, right? So the total in the income goal that we need, 1.14 million. The money that goes back into the market center, the 26,000, did 10% of that 1.14 million, got 114,000 in expenses. And that means we need to do 1.2 million in volume, right? And gross commission income needs to be 1.2 million. Okay. So now we're going to take the average amount. If you don't know the average commission inside of your market center, use $9,000. Matter of fact, for all of us tonight, use $9,000. Homework, talk to your team leader, find out what the average commission is so you know what you're jumping into. We divide it by 9. That's going to give us the number of transactions that are needed. So our average goal, we need 142 transactions closed to get to our goal. We talked about it earlier, but already tonight, there has been someone who's sitting inside this office that we've had conversations with that closes more than 142 transactions. I saw the message in the chat that said it's harder for dual career agents. We have several dual career agents, and one of whom who I like to talk about on a regular basis because their job, they are in a role where they cannot be seen doing anything outside of their primary job. They've been at that job for, I forget how many years, but long enough that they want to retire there and that they're not going to sacrifice anything from that world. They close about $10 million in volume every year in their dual career or their second job or their part-time job, whatever we want to call it. They do 10 million every year. It's achievable. Whatever you set your mind to, you will be able to accomplish and do. And they can only spend about 10 hours a week working in real estate.
Do they have like does this particular person have like assistants or like, I mean, I'm just.
Nope. They do not. The only person that they have helping them is their spouse, and their spouse literally just, and I can't even say answer the phone. Their spouse just keeps them in line and lets them know that, hey, you got work to go do. But this is their business solely. They have no other assistants. And part of it is because when they've had assistants, it takes away from their primary job to coach, train, and mentor, and that person asks them questions, which it puts their other job in jeopardy. Now, that thought process in your head is, it sounds great, but I don't know if I could do that.
You just read my mind.
Yep, they went through the same exercise, saw the number looked crazy. Her number that she wanted to get to, she essentially needed to close roughly 4 million a year to get out of real estate what she wanted to achieve. And she's now at 10 million. And she does not work as hard as you could even imagine or think. Like I said, it's roughly 10 hours a week that she can put into it. What it comes from is being very purposeful. We all have those boxes. We all have the things that motivate us, and that's the big why. You know what's crazy about real estate agents? And this is why I said, you guys don't even know what to spend money on, but I guarantee since you guys have had your license, you've probably been solicited 75 times already by somebody trying to sell you leads, mortgage people coming after you, somebody selling you a new CRM, random stuff, people coming at you to get you to spend money on.
Medical insurance.
All of it. You know why they come after you guys like that? Because real estate agents make a ton of money. And because we make a ton of money, we're usually bad at spending it. And we'll spend it on anything that we think will make our lives better. And the funny thing is, if we stay focused on our core activities and what we need to do, you can accomplish any one of these goals that you set out on a piece of paper at 10 hours a week. And I'm telling you, the agent I'm talking about, they cannot market on Facebook. They cannot market on any social media. They can't put themselves out there in any form or fashion that would lead somebody to believe that they are not committed to their full-time job or their main career, because she'll tell you she has 2 careers. And forgive me, I gave it away. Yep.
Is she able to speak with other agents? Because my question was, who is she? Because I need to meet with her.
She won't, only because, and forgive me for even saying the she won't, only because she's afraid it would jeopardize what she has built. We do have an agent who's in Upper Marlboro. She wrote a book about being a dual career agent, and she was producing, I think she was around 10 to 12 million every year being dual career as well. I used to have that book with me in the office when I moved offices, I think I gave it away to somebody and I didn't get it back. I'll find that book though. What I will tell you is this. What do successful real estate agents do every day? They grow and run their business, right? So if we look at this sheet and it says the things that we need to do, the reality is there is something that is in place to make your life easy. If you're able to lead generate and grab business of people who want to work with you. Crystal already said it earlier. She had, from 2 weeks of lead gen, she now has somebody who doesn't have a real estate agent that they want to pass her name out to every one of the listings that they have because they're an investor. She literally just might have found somebody who will give her 5 deals every single month from doing lead gen. If you are very purposeful with your time, you will be amazed at the results that you will be able to achieve. And I know how crazy it sounds. I know seeing the things on paper like, yeah, but they have X, they have Y, they have Z. Everybody started off the exact same way. One individual agent took a test, got a license and said, huh, what the hell do I do now? All of us are in that boat. And now it's what you do next that makes the difference. The secret to this whole thing is two. One thing, you know what you're working towards. If you know what that is, and I'm pointing at a board right now because I have goals that are up. If you know what you're working towards, that gives you your vision of what to focus on. But then the next process is you actually got to put in that work. And it doesn't have to be crazy. I lead gen 2 hours a day. It's literally all I lead gen is 2 hours a day. And the 2 hours a day that I lead gen, I'm not all that successful. I had some good days, I had some terrible days. Last week, I had a couple good days. This week, I don't even want to lead gen anymore. But just those 2 hours every day makes a difference. It's what makes me stable. You want to get real on something else. So I asked that question earlier. When's the time that you didn't think big enough and that it affected you, cost you? I had a $40 million business that I stepped away from. I stepped away from that business because in my mind, I wanted to, well, actually, I can't even say in my mind. I wanted to grow and get bigger. I wanted to challenge myself. What I didn't recognize was I had built a $40 million business that people were salivating over. And I didn't sell it for the right amount of money. So, boss. One question. How many units are you guys going to close this year?
Somewhere around 150, I want to say.
Another agent walked into my office, 150 units. It's real, you can achieve it, but it's all about being purposeful and being focused on what you're working towards. See, tonight we talked about setting the goals to get you there. Everybody's motivation is going to be slightly different. Whatever's motivating you, that's what you have to use. Now, here's the question. If our average number tonight is 142 units, what do we got to do to get there? Well, first, let's break it down. So 142 units, we divide that out by 12. How many units a month do we need to go through?
12.
12 a month, right? Okay. If we need to close 12 a month, then what activities will we need to do? Obviously, we need to lead gen, but this is something that you're going to start using if you're in KW, the command system. Work with your coaches to figure out something called a conversion rate. How many people do I need to meet with to get under contract to close 12 a month? Well, the reality is it's about 70% ratio. So 70% of the people, if you have, and let's say you got a business that's doing 1 billion this year, you're not closing every single transaction. You're going to close roughly 70% of the people you get under contract. So if we divide that out, that means you need to get 16 people under, or 17 people under contract each month. All right. Well, if we go with the top real estate agents to find out how many people they need to meet with to get 17 contracts, well, oddly enough, that also is around 70%. That means they need to meet with roughly 24 people every single month to get 17 people to go under contract. Now, that's a person who's working full-time in real estate. How many days are in a month?
30 on average. What was the number that they have to meet with to?
They need to meet with 24 people. So there's 31 days in a month.
21 working days.
All right, 21 working days, right? And being a real estate agent, a lot of us having our business, we work on Saturdays and Sundays, do we not? I know it all depends. You got enough years and you don't work on Saturday and Sundays anymore. We'll talk about it. Let me finish. So if there's 21 working days in a month, but realistically we're grinding right now. So there's 31 in a month. And you only got to meet with 24 people to get there if you're having effective conversations. If this is your sole income, is that doable? It's really less than one person a day, right? Okay. If you're lead genning purposely every single day, and lead gen purposely looks different to every person. So have you understand that? Are you able to get one appointment? If you can get one appointment every day, we just put ourselves on a path to make $1 million in a year. So I go back to that question that's in our minds is, yeah, but it probably couldn't be me. I won't be able to do it. And my question to that is, why can't it be you? Look at the boxes that you have listed down. These are the goals that you're working towards. Okay. A lot of them shaking their heads. Yeah, we would. So I call it the drunk monkey, the elephant in the room, whatever you want to call it. I'll call it the drunk monkey. Drunk monkey is, but I don't know what I'm saying when I'm meeting with these people. So I'm not going to have that 70% conversion rate. Well, you really want to know the truth. When you're a newer agent, most of the people that you meet with probably know you and like you, and they will probably agree with you. And you'll probably have a higher conversion rate than what's necessary, which let me know you're not meeting with enough people. But let's say we're at a 60% conversion ratio. Matter of fact, let's say we're at a 50% conversion ratio. All right, well, if we go back through the numbers that were there, so we were at 24 appointments, multiply that out. And now let's divide it by, let's say we're really not sure of ourselves. And now we need to meet with, oops. And we'll do 20%. 20% conversion ratio. That means 84 people, 85 people rounding up. So if we divide that 85 people divided by 31 days, that would mean each day you would need to meet with 3 people. I'm gonna ask this question again. Look at any one of the boxes that you have listed down in front of you. Would you be willing to get that box if all you had to do was meet with 3 people a day? So again, I ask, why not you? You can get anything you want out of this business. The one thing that stops us from getting there is that we don't believe in ourselves. We don't believe it's attainable. We don't believe we can achieve it. Cool things about numbers is numbers don't lie. They show us what's achievable and what we can achieve and what we can get. Now it's about, are you willing to put the work forward to get to these goals? And I'm going to tell you, if you shook your head no and said, nah, I'm not willing to meet with 3 people to get whatever number you have listed, it's probably not a good enough goal. It's probably not a good enough motivator. Because we go back to thinking what I was able to do in that short period of time, it means everything to me for my mother to be able to be happy. And now, and this makes it even better, my aunt moved in with my mother. And now they're together having the time of their lives. And I can't call them without them giggling and playing games in the background, doing stuff. But that was a difference maker. Like that's something that's phenomenal for me. That was a motivator that made a difference. If your goal is big enough and if it truly motivates you, you will achieve it. All right, so I'm done preaching. What do we think? What have we heard and what are you feeling?
I think the biggest thing is just what aha moment for me, I guess, is to make sure that your goals are something that's going to be a big motivator for you. Because if not, it's just kind of going to sit there and you're not going to do whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. So for me, I mean, that was truly, I like the exercise of going through and writing down the boxes of what it is that we, really wanted to do or achieve, because that actually put things in perspective for me. It allowed me a few seconds to really, I mean, I know my student loans, but then there's like other things, and I don't think I ever really thought about it like that. So that was huge. And also kind of ties into that. I think Alana says it all the time too, like your big why, and really truly understanding what your big why is. Because if you're saying, okay, well, just this random thing, well, it might seem like a good thing, but if it's not enough to get you motivated to do something, then you need to dig deeper into what it is. Not that it isn't good, you just you didn't dig deep enough.
Right. I mean, think about it the way we just addressed it. If you knew that one appointment, meeting with one person every day could change your life, could pay off your student loan debt, could get you the first of the 5 homes that you need, could take care of every medical bill that you had for your family, that would fund the next vacation, why would you not? And if you're competitive like me, then here's the question. Why would you let somebody else that goal that you have on your other piece on your paper? Why would you let somebody else achieve that goal and you suffer and you not achieve it and you not get it? How would it feel knowing that every other person that you were in your PSI exam with achieved every goal they wanted to get, and you were the one person who didn't? And how would it feel knowing that you didn't achieve it because you didn't put in a little bit of work to get the goals that are on your paper? See, we said in the beginning, think big enough that you can change your life. We wrote these goals out to figure out how we can change our lives. And when I tell you we are in a business that will let you do that, you are. Use the goals, use your motivators to get there. So I'll move forward and really talk about a couple things that are key. You want to be able to track your goals. So what I just broke down on how many appointments you need to go through, how many people you need to go on a contract, how many contracts that actually need to close. If you use Command, or you talk to your Market Center tech trainer, you talk to your PC coach, you talk to your team leader, we'll all walk you through Command to show you how you can go in, input what your goals are, and then you can see on a daily basis what you're doing and how you're measuring up to your goals. The CRM that's already provided to you will track all of this information for you. That's the second homework for you, but you want to use that because that will let you start tracking and see your goals. And I will say this, I know large numbers can do one of two things. It either motivates or deflates. If you're a person that's seen that large number deflates you more than motivates you, break it down. Break it down to the point where it looks like a number that you can hit and that you can achieve. You will get there. If a large number is your motivator, keep it at the large number. But put that goal in. You start to break it down and you can get there. Now, here's the biggest thing. And I said this just right now, and it's funny how my mind works and how this class is put together. And there's a big note that says, try not to be discouraging, right? And that's not the point of today. The point of the day is to equip you with the knowledge to know how to succeed, right? And I'll be honest with you, it's not difficult. It's actually simple. It's just not easy. Not everybody's willing to do it. Not everybody wants to put in the time and the investment to get there. You guys saw the one thing, so I'm assuming that you've heard of the 80-20 principle. Yay, nay? Oh, I get to tell a story. All right. This 80-20 principle, it's called Pareto's principle, and it has a few other names that's given to it. And this all resolved around a researcher, sociologist, and they noticed something, right? Hold on, I'll click up and read the story directly. So in the 1940s, the quality control manager, Joseph Juran, documented a life-changing universal principle that he called the vital few, the trivial many. The idea was that a relatively small percentage of your efforts lead to the vast majority of your results. He attributed some of his findings to the statistical work done by the Italian economist Vilfredo Pareto, who observed that 80% of the wealth in his country was owned by 20% of the population. So as fate would have it, that broadly embraced principle came to be known as Juran's law. No, not as Juran's law, but Pareto's principle. These days, we simply call it the 80-20 principle. The idea is that 20% of your actions leads to 80% of your results. And this might be one of the most powerful principles that you can apply to your life. It's about getting the most from your time and effort. It's about maximizing your results. It's about having focus. We talk about, and some of your coaches and a lot of KW, we use acronyms and say different things, but one of the things we talk about is big rocks. Has anybody heard that phrase, your big rocks? So when my office was cleaned out, I had a candy jar that was in here. And it actually is the visual to show what we're going through. So now I'll have to walk you through and see this in your mind. You have a glass jar, right? And in this jar, we're going to put in all of the tasks that you have to complete, right? So the first task we think of, we got roughly half the jar of sand, right? Then we have little pebbles that we're putting in. Then we have a little bit larger gravel. Then we have a couple of medium-sized rocks that are there. And now this jar is almost filled. And then we got the big rock that's on top that we put in. And for whatever reason, this big rock will not fit inside that jar. And that jar is our day of everything we have to go through. Well, you can take this same jar, but if you organize it differently, you'll be able to fit everything inside of it. If we organize it differently, what's the first thing that we need to put in? The biggest rock.
Your big rocks.
There you go. Now on top of the rocks, you can start adding other things in, the sand, the pebbles, the gravel, the medium-sized rocks. And guess what? You probably still have enough room that you can start adding water on top of it. Well, this is the same thing. So I was asked in the chat about speaking to the agent about what they do and what they go through. This is literally what they do. They focus their efforts on what makes them the most productive. Her specific thing was she had a network that she has that's outside of her work. And she made sure that she notified everybody in that group that she is the real estate agent of choice for them. They know her, they know how dedicated she is to her craft, and she let them know that she's in real estate. And when she has her free time in her 10 hours, she reaches out to each, find out who needs what, and then they make sure that they refer her out. And she shows up for those clients. That is her secret. And you can immediately say, oh, well, she has a great network. Nope, her network is no different than anybody else's. But it's the fact that she reaches out, they refer, and then she has a bigger network to keep reaching out to. And everything that she does is phone call and face-to-face interaction. And I can tell you, because she brought it up to me recently, one of the people she was connected with, it's somebody who is inside of an office that she's in. She can't work with that client. She needs to refer it out to somebody else. So she doesn't take every client. But it literally came from being that person of choice and reaching out. Her 20% was notifying people of what she does and that she's an active agent that she can work with. People know her work ethic and know what she does, and that's why people start to refer to it. That's where she spends her time, effort, and energy. That conversation is no different than any conversation that you've been told so far, which is, hey, I'm in real estate. Who should I talk to? Who do you know that's looking to buy or sell? The cool thing about this business is that there really isn't any magic bullet. It's about what you put into it. So if we talk about what you put in, have somebody read this slide for me.
What is the one thing you can do right now that would make everything else easier or unnecessary?
Another way of saying what's your 20%. So when we started this call, I asked what are some goals, and people mentioned lead gen, follow-up, right? The things that grow and run your business. So if we're looking at that sheet of what do we need to do every single day, if you only had one option, right? This is a list of 13 things that every real estate agent must do every day. If you only had one option, what is the one thing on this list that would actually make you money? You couldn't do anything else. You could only do one thing on this list. What's that one thing? What would it be?
Lead.
Lead gen.
You got it. Lead generation. That's literally the magic bullet right there. Because just in that same scenario I gave, they can refer business out. We got an agent right now that is their sole business is, you know what? They know how to cultivate clients. They refer business out. They don't do anything else. They don't show a house. They don't do listings. They don't pay for signs. They don't even pay for anything because they just reach out to their network and find out who's looking to buy or sell, and they connect them to agents across the country. $250,000 a year. Just from lead generation. And they're on the beach more than they're doing anything else. So for everybody who's dual career and you're wondering, how can I be successful? How can I get there? In 2 weeks of lead generation from Crystal, she has 2 referrals that came in and 1 that's possibly going to really kickstart her business like no other. 2 weeks of lead generation. That is the one thing that you want to go through. That is where you want to focus your energy and get there. I spent a whole lot of time in this area because it really is the magic bullet. This is the awesome part about today's class, right? There are little things that we can start going through and we can start putting together. When you're meeting with your coaches, when you're meeting with your TL, things that you can ask, we have little things that we can put together to help you. Some of those things are, and we're a big company, we believe in tools and systems, right? No need to reinvent any wheel. As you have your goal listed on the board, I told you break it down and make it smaller. We use what's called a 411, a GPS, roadmap, all of them are the same. And what it does is it takes whatever this annual goal that you have, and let's break it down. So if this is the goal that I need to achieve in 1 year, what do I need to do in 1 month? Well, think about the numbers we went through, right? For us to get the 1.1 million, we broke it down and said that we needed to close 11 deals each month. That's our monthly goal. All right, for me to hit that monthly goal, Then we started breaking it down. How many people do I need to talk to? All right, well, if I need to talk to 24 people, let's break it down 4 weeks, and that's 7 people. That's 1 person a day. So each week, now I got a goal. Well, who are the 7 people that I'm actually connecting with? You break your goals down to that level, anything that is large and impossible becomes achievable. What's that phrase? How do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. All right? This is what we work through to get there. You have your big life on your paper. You have the goals that you want to achieve. We got into real estate for a reason. Here's the big question. Who's willing to work for it? When we started this class, I talked about the people who are in this room together. This is your group. This is your network. This is your sphere. This is your support system. These are the people who will make sure that when you're having a tough day. I told you this week, I've had the worst lead gen that I've had in probably the last 2 months. If you've been in my market center, you've seen that I've been shouted out and praised for little things that we've been doing here and there, but yet and still, I'm having one of the worst weeks of lead generation I've ever had. Well, I can't say ever had, but it's just a bad week, right? In your own mind, you're always your toughest critic. When you have a great support system, they will find ways to, 1, hold you accountable, but 2, let you know that you're not as far off as you really think you are. So we went through and we shared some things today, right? And Chak, because I was gonna say Chizezda, but I think I messed it up already, right? You mentioned it earlier, for those who want to share, man, as you guys go through these classes, I can't stress enough, share and go through. Only thing that you're gonna find out is, just like Wade mentioned earlier, we all share some of the same fears, have some of the same goals and same things we need to accomplish. I guarantee you, if you reach out to each other, it's going to make things easier, and you're going to find out that, hey, they just did it, so can I. Or I just did it, now I'm sharing my joy with somebody else. We're all fighting the same fight. There's enough real estate transactions out here for all of us to hit this goal. But support each other. Find somebody that you can work with that will hold you accountable. And these things, and some of you send me individual chats tonight, send each other the individual chats. Share your contact information. Find somebody that you can lead gen with. If you know you can't lead gen until 6 p.m. every day, figure out who can lead gen with you. If your lead gen looks different, which, by the way, lead gen is whatever gets you in contact with your sphere. One of the best lead gen stories that I've heard, which makes so much sense to me, well, mind you, there's so many different areas that you can go through. We got some people who are social media crazy. I'm not. Look me up. You send me a message on Facebook or wherever else. I just found out I got messages from 3 years ago I didn't even know about. I just found out I can see them today. I'm not good with it. That ain't my life. I don't do it. My clients, my friends, they know that's not a way to reach out to me. I'm going to call you. You text me. I'm the person who picks up the phone and I call you back, right? But that's who I am. That's how I show up. That's how I network. How I was always able to get business, I found a way to be in front of people. Whether it's at a bar, whether it's at a game, somehow, some way, I found a way to interact and be there, because when I'm in person, yeah, I recognize I got a lot of energy. I recognize that I can be draining, but I love to have fun and I love to connect and I love to learn about others. And those things, that's what moves me forward. That's my superpower that I was recently told, was that I have ability to listen without judging anybody. I'm a flawed individual. I can't judge anybody else, but I can listen and find out what you have going on. That's where I show up. It's an agent who's in Georgia, and this story gets told a lot around this area, these parts, because this is somebody I connected with and I love her story. She wanted to get better in her life. And what she wanted to go through is she realized she was working so much that she wasn't giving any time for herself. So she wanted to go out and start playing tennis again. And in playing tennis, she said, all right, I'll take 1 day a week, I'll go out there. But the day of the week that I spend, this is also a great day that I get a lot of business from. So can I do 2 birds with 1 stone? Can I get a client to come out and play tennis with me? And it started off just innocently enough. So she said she put it out there on Facebook. Anybody looking to play tennis Tuesday at 1. She had a couple people raise their hands. They go out. They're just friendly having a game of tennis. Guess what? She gets a client out of it. And realize everybody that you talk to may not be the client, but just like Crystal said earlier, she had somebody who referred her out. Another person she talked to, they referred her to somebody else. The people that you talk with and connect to, they can be your referral partners to help you out on that side. So she went from that and said, what if I did it again? Had another tennis match, had more clients come out. Do it again, more people come out. Well, now it's built up so much that she doesn't do anything else to lead gen in her business. The only thing she does to lead gen in her business is literally go play tennis. She's made it be the best part of her clients' week, or actually now the best part of their month. So she now rents out a whole tennis court or bubble if you got it in your area. In my area, I just found out I got a bubble I can go to for free. Whole nother conversation, but my mind's blown. Rents that out. She now sponsors the balls. She sponsors the towels. She has her own water bottles created. That's the money that she's investing back into her business. That's where she's marketing. Everybody comes out. You don't have to bring anything except for clothes to play tennis in. They go out, they have a great time. They get lessons on one court, games going on the other court. And all of her business comes from that. Want to know how much she does every single year? Her gross commission that she brings in is roughly $2 million every year from playing tennis. That is her lead gen. Your lead gen will look different. It can show up different. As long as it's something that connects to you and you show up in a way that's authentic to you, you will get business. Things will come from it. Don't be afraid to do it. Work towards it. You got your big why. You got your goals that you want to achieve. It's on us to make it happen. All right. I will digress from that, but let's find out. We had a decent class. What do we get out of it? What's some ahas that we took away today?
I don't think it's an aha, but I mean, it's a realization though that it's attainable, like it's achievable, but you do have to work hard to do it, to get there.
Mm-hmm.
At first, when I was listening to the numbers, I was like, oh, wow, like that's a lot, and not feeling defeated, but with the mindset that like, that's a lot. But I just kind of had to switch my mindset and it's like, I can do this. Can you make a call, make these calls per day? And yeah, I could do that. I can do it. So, yeah.
It's simple. It's real simple. It's great feedback. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. What else? What else does somebody get? What's another aha?
I think for me, just to keep going, because you highlighted the experiences of the people at different levels, different phases of whether it's new agents or people that have been doing it for years, and everybody still seems to, it's kind of like a cycle where you go through, you're going to have your ups and your moments where you're not so much down, but maybe, feel discouraged a little bit, but you just got to keep focused and keep up with that consistency with the lead gen and keep doing it. If one thing isn't working with lead gen, try something else to try to figure out, what works best for you.
Very true. Very true. I see where I got to my goals need me to make more appointments and talk to more people. You're in real estate. You got to talk to somebody. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think another thing I took away from tonight is that, a lot of people press social media. You have to be on social media because that's where people are. If they're not on Facebook, they're on Instagram or, all these other platforms. And, I heard you say someone tonight that someone has a job that they can't be on there at all. and she does really well. You're not on there at all. And there's many other ways to generate leads. So I like, you know, how you threw out about the person on the tennis court. It's just like, it's good to hear like these different ways of doing things. And it doesn't have to be that, you know, the way that I see a lot of people pushing. You have to do this, you have to do this, or you can't be successful.
Yeah. Like literally the one thing about that is, yeah, you have to let people know that you're in real estate, otherwise it won't work. How you let them know is what works for you. I'm gonna give you a big aha that I got out of tonight, and it was Wade earlier just mentioning that his goal, just let me get my first one. Why that's so big to me is 18 years. I've been in this world somehow, some way for 18 years. And sometimes what you forget is what it's like to get that first one. And I remember that feeling. It came back to me as we're hearing it and everybody kind of shared like, yeah, I feel the same thing. And I'm going to tell you that do not let the fear of not knowing how to close that first deal, not knowing how to find that first deal, not knowing what not to say, don't let that stop you. It is such a real, that fear can prevent you from getting everything that you want, and it's so close for you. Do not let that be the thing that holds you back. Fight and push, kick, claw, and scream. You will get your deal, and once you get it closed, you will find that you know what to do, and it will become very easy after that. We talked about building habits. Build the habit of knowing what actions that you need to take that will get your results. If you are following those habits every day, and I'll route you back to your productivity coach, your TL, your team leader, whoever you need to talk to, they will have a path for you. If you do this, I guarantee you will get results. We have a training coming up, SLS. Now that one, there's a cost to it, right? It's Jeff Glover from Glover U. He's coming to teach about your sales, the leads that you have, and the systems that you use. $595 for that class. But he also has a guarantee that if you attend every class and you're doing what's there, you will make your money back. You will close transactions, you will be good. If not, they will give you your money back. They stand by it because you will. See, on one side, everything that you have on that paper in front of you, that is your motivator for you to step up and do what you need to do. Get you an accountability partner, get you people, because we all think the same, but that will push you through. Do not let that fear stop you from getting your goals. All right. So just slightly after 8, I'm gonna wrap us up. So exchange information, reach out, connect with each other, help each other push forward. I'm gonna throw my information in the chat. I am a person who, you can see my door is literally always open. I do not mind talking. I do not mind sharing at any point in time. That's just who I am and how I show up, right? I'm getting better about, I'm not gonna say saying no, but I do shield my time for certain times during the day to make sure I can get my goals done. But outside of that, I try to be open for any and everybody, because a lot of times different conversations have different motivators for us all. If you need me for anything, reach out. I'm here for you. All right. What I'm going to do now is I am going to go dark, but I'm going to leave everything up, give you guys roughly 20 minutes or so. Hang out, chat, share stories with each other. Anything that you need or any questions that you have, hey, type it in the chat. When I come back in about 8:20 is when I'll shut it off. But hopefully you guys are shared and did everything else. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Like I said, I'll go dark now. Share and enjoy.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Thanks,
Brandon.
Brendan.